ordered for Shopify Rebellion. Let's see if they can remedy things back from London, improve on it. And as I say that, we're getting into games. So it's going to be you boys casting this one. Have fun.
It's time to find out who's going to come out on top. Will it be Shopify Rebellion? Will it be Cloud9? Pool play so important to set the tone here for the tournament. So important to get you a great seed when going into bracket play. We know what's on the line. So do they. Now it's time to see some Halo, baby.
A very important game here for the side of Rebellion. Of course, Sentinels already beat Cloud9 in pool play. So now Rebellion, they want any chance at this next matchup today. They have to get through Cloud9, and they got to do it right now.
We saw Cloud9 earlier. We actually got the chance to cast them on the B stream. I felt like they looked really good. They started off so well. They weren't able to finish off games. They weren't able to clutch it out. It ended up getting 3-0'd, but the way they had the lead in the beginning of those games, kind of crazy.
Can you close? That's the big question here. If they start off strong, that is Cloud9 in this game number 1. Can you close? You can't let Rebellion breathe. And right now, Tusk doing a little bit of that, taking out Cykul there at the bottom of the stairs.
Tusk played excellent in his first series. Looks like he's picking up exactly where he left off, 2-0 at the moment, and anchoring this gold side of the map for his team. Shopify Rebellion want to take over this gold side, but they gotta go through Tusk, and Tusk, he got a nasty BR.
Yeah, such a decisive spot there on the bottom of gold stairs, right? He's stopping that cross from happening, also trying to stay alive. They understand how important he is. You see SoulSnipe taking him over, and also another kill goes in. That's 3 down for Cloud9.
Actually, Suspector, he was trying to wait for that gold side push and end up getting shot in the back, forced to go over toward the gold side through the needles, and looks like that's exactly where Shopify Rebellion want them, and they're simply gonna nade him out.
Oh, great trade there by Cloud9, though. They take out 2 from the side of Rebellion. Are they gonna be able to get the space here on this hill? And you see that shock rifle's up as well.
And who's gonna be able to grab it when 3 down go Rebellion? You have to imagine it's gonna be Cloud9, but Sceptify making sure that they clear out the final player on the A side before going in for that hill, before going in for that power weapon. That's teamwork, baby.
Yeah, Cloud9 are so good at keeping this pipe side control. You've seen them consistently pushing forward towards it. This is going to be a very important side of control for this very first hill, and you see, they're already halfway there.
So close. But again, we keep talking about it. It's about how you finish, not about how you start. So although Cloud9 has the lead, going 3 down is not what you want to see. And Cykul just barely missing out on that headshot, forced to back down. Teammates are there. SoulSnipe is in hill. Active camouflage is coming up. Rebellion are controlling multiple different objectives on the map, and they're also winning gunfights just like that.
Yeah, beautiful job. It's a 3 down for each side, though. So Cykul's going to scoop under bottom center and get that camo, but he trades that camo for a lot of hill time here.
Will it be all the hill time, though? Cloud9 getting way too much, and the nades not doing enough damage onto Tusk. He may just steal this one away, but where did SoulSnipe just come from? The back smack out of nowhere.
Yeah, great aggression out of SoulSnipe. It's Sceptify that has to get this kill. Jumps inside the hill, but he gets contested. That's going to be another one down for the side of Cloud9. It could be Rebellion taking this first hill.
And when we talk about plays that don't show up on the stat sheet, those are plays right there. SoulSnipe falling from the heavens to get that back smack. The rest of Rebellion now picking up on it, but they weren't able to steal away the hill. Oh. Yes, they were.
Well, Rebellion end up getting that hill, but they also go 4 down. So now it's Cloud9's opportunity to get that initial control and stop this push from the long haul.
And look at the awareness out of Sabinater and Cloud9. He's pinging exactly where Rebellion is coming from. He knew they spawned over toward the glass side. He knew they were funneling them towards long haul. And knowledge is power here in Halo Infinite. There's a reason why Cloud9 have been able to hold Rebellion back and get 25 to 30% of this hill. It's because of that spawn awareness.
Yeah, make sure you ping. You've set a button for your ping, ladies and gentlemen. A very important thing to use. I don't use it enough, but regardless of that, Cloud9 get a bit of time. They get halfway through this hill number 2, but once again, it's Rebellion that answer back. The thing for me, Tony, is we're only separated by 2 kills between these 2 teams. Right now, Shopify leading.
The fact that you have a whole keyboard and you don't ping, that's a conversation for another time. I'm not even going to talk to you. 1-0 lead in favor of Shopify Rebellion. We switch gears towards mental. And now with 3 players of Cloud9, not only collapsing on him, but also grabbing a hold of that camouflage, Cloud9 look like they have the advantage here in this engagement. They're pushing forward.
Yeah, Mental's the first one to fall, and I love how they double push him right there. overwhelm him. Mental is one of those incredible individual players. Taking him out with 2 of your teammates is exactly what you have in terms of a recipe for success. It's 3 down now for Rebellion.
And they're so close to taking their first hill are Cloud9. To be honest with you, it feels like they should have had the first one. And I'm sure they probably agree with that as the Shroud goes down and into the shadow. Suspector goes, tries to steal it away, but that is a split second that they'll eventually get Cloud9 on the board.
It's a bit scrappy out of Cloud9, but it will work to tie the game here at 1. And honestly, that's exactly what Cloud9 need, especially losing that very first hill, Tony. Cloud9 tying it up here means that they still have wind in their sails to take this game.
Tied up at 1 apiece. This is a swing hill. This is to decide who gets momentum here in this game. 2 minutes and 41 seconds on the clock, so plenty of time. This won't be the final hill. Both teams gonna have to pace themselves. It's gonna be a long one.
Yeah, once again, they're pacing themselves into the face of Mental. They're making sure to shut him down. 5 and 8 so far in this game. And you see on the other end of things, of course, it's suppressed with a beautiful 14 and 8, but it's Cloud9 once again. Their scrappy play is working thus far. They've already got some progression on this hill number 3.
I'm definitely keep my eyes out on Sab and Suppress right now, the leading slayers and damage dealers for their respective teams. And right now, Sab doing it all, not only doing the damage, but also getting the hill time as well, but eventually leads to a 3 down, making a full squad wipe. Rebellion take complete control.
Yeah, Rebellion take the process step by step. They make sure to get that elevator control. SoulSnipe spawns there. They push towards the hill, and now they've deleted the entire lead on this hill that Cloud9 had.
Camouflage coming up. We see that Rebellion not only have the hill, but they have to navigate making sure that Cloud9 do not get away with that camouflage, and getting easy picks is what they wanted to do. SoulSnipe finds the 1 shot, finds 2, an easy double kill out of him, but Sab still able to grab a hold of that camo. Will he have maximum impact here?
Great job by Cloud9 right there. They send Tusk towards the elevator side, but they send 3 towards Glass. But again, you have the adaptability of SoulSnipe to make sure to get out of that hill, switch positions, and now it's Rebellion in the lead 2-1.
Sab tried to get a little tricky with it on that hill, and he was able to neutralize it a bit, but there's only so much you can do by yourself, even with that camouflage. Eventually a 3 down goes Shopify, Rebellion, and Cloud9 down by 1 cap. They cannot lose this next hill.
Well, it's still really even in slays. It's 46 for Shopify Rebellion and 44 for Cloud9. So that's not a factor here. It's that objective efficiency that we continue to talk about, making sure to prioritize positions on the map that give you easy access to the hills.
Cykul may be down in numbers of Shopify Rebellion, but he's still getting awfully aggressive and does damage that leads to Sab going down. But will it be a broken setup? 1 or 2 kills is not enough, and Shopify Rebellion are the ones who go 3 down.
This is exactly what Cloud9 need, and I love the patience by Sceptify right there. Staying on the backseat side, trying to get his teammates Hydro spawns, and all they need to do is take care of 1 player in the long haul, and they do. They could potentially tie this game up, Tony.
Sceptify currently 11 kills, 10 assists, and he's already filling himself with the band, and now gets to show what he can do with the shot. Body shot onto SoulSnipe, can't quite finish him, and this is going to be a 3-man push out of Rebellion.
Yeah, Wes talked about it. It's very important to have that shock rifle, but also use it correctly, right? Get those kills with the shock, and you see, unfortunately, it's a missed shot there by Sceptify that could potentially cost them a little bit of this hill. It's going to be another push that has to ensue.
Rebellion were able to break the setup and now trying to get into one of their own, but haven't been able to figure it out, having multiple players up at the same time and watching those angles, watching that space right now. Rebellion need a clean setup, and so far they haven't gotten it, but with Cloud9 going 3 down, this might be what they need.
Yeah, and then Camo's up as well. I believe someone ended up scooping that up, but regardless, it's going to be Suppressed, who can take that camo and utilize it. It's a single push through the long haul once again. If they spot this player from Cloud9, they could take him out and potentially close this hill out.
1 minute and 15 seconds on the clock right now. What happens if Rebellion are able to win this hill and it's 3-1?
Yeah, unfortunately, they're going to have to, Cloud9 are going to have to try and rush through. They do go down Rebellion, that is. They go 3 down, so it's Cloud9's chance to potentially tie this up, which is huge for them, because like you said, if it went to a 3rd hill, it would be bad for the side of Cloud9.
The moment we had that thought, Cloud9 said, hey, think again real quick.
That's right.
Tied up right now, and what might be the most important hill might be the hill that decides it. Next one could win it right here, right now. And so far, Rebellion, they take at least a man advantage, getting aggressive. Sceptify, he likes that. He gets some good damage of his own.
What a flip of the script, though, Tony. Isn't it crazy that the same team in Rebellion beat Cloud9 4-0 in London, and now Cloud9 are coming through, and they're showcasing that they can hang with the best. And We'll see if they can make sure to get that closure that we talked about. Closing out the games is what these lower-tier teams struggle with. We'll see if Cloud9 can make it happen.
I mean, we talked about the fact that Cloud9 already played a series already against Sentinels. They're warmed up, and we keep saying they look good in the start of games. It's only the finishing. They couldn't exactly polish it off a little. They couldn't exactly finish it off as far as a game or even a series. Now, looking much better and also looking forward down.
Yeah, unfortunate too. With them being 3 down and that camo coming up, Rebellion can pretty much put a bow tie on this very first game if they play it correctly. The spawns come out onto A, and now you see Rebellion already aware of that, going to be pushing through. Tons of damage on a Cykul. That's what he does best. Look at this, the double the killing spree. Cykul's on fire.
Shout out to the production for catching that picture-in-picture. We saw that camouflage get grappled away, and it was mental. They're focused on getting the hill, but also keeping their eyes on the prize. They know resources will lead to kills, and those kills will lead to objective time. Excellent prioritization coming out of Mental. He still goes down.
Yeah, Mental plays a dangerous game right there. He does bait out a shot from Tusk with that shock rifle, but him going down with camo right there could be difficult here for Rebellion, but Cloud9 do have that initial control. It's all about this back Hydro side. SoulSnipe understands that, and he gets one.
Big stick out of SoulSnipe, and now both teams still fighting off of that back Hydro side, like you said. Tower side being controlled as well. Both teams looking to desperate into the hill, and now with 10 seconds on the clock, we're almost guaranteed to see a sudden at this point. This really will be a next cap takes the win, and it's so close.
Yeah, I mean, it's trades back and forth for both sides. Like you said, we should see a sudden death here, but Rebellion once again have 3 down for Cloud9, and they could close out this hill.
There it is. We see them jiggle peeking over toward the hill. We see SoulSnipe flying off of the top row to make sure to secure those kills, which eventually secures that hill. And that's a 3-2 win for Shopify Rebellion.
My goodness gracious. I mean, again, starting off a little bit slow there, but again, they come through victorious. And this has been the story. Cloud9 not able to close out that first game. Cykul, 24 kills. I mean, an absolute incredible game out of Cykul. 24 and 15 out of the young gun.
How many times can you be so close yet so far away from getting these wins? And mind you, these are big upset wins. We talk about the first series, we talk about that series against Sentinels, which would have been huge for them. Yep. This is now Shopify Rebellion. We're not talking about those slouches here. We're talking about 4th place back in Arlington. We're talking about 3rd place back in London. We're talking about some of the best teams in the world, and you're right there. Why can't we finish Cloud9?
It's that experience, right? You've got to go through these types of times in order to grow as a squad. It's just right now, you were this close from making an upset happen against Rebellion. But when you have Cykul once again doing what he did that entire game, you have a difficult task on your hands if you're Cloud9, Tony. You got to take that man out.
It's so funny. It's the 1-2 punch that you see from Suppressed and Cykul.
Yep.
So good at getting that max damage that you love talking about. So good at picking and choosing when to be offensive and when to stay alive, when to curve slide into the action and make their presence known. I feel like SoulSnipe and Mental are able to play such great Halo because you have that 1-2 punch that Cykul and Suppressed are going to bring consistently.
You know what's crazy about Cykul? You talk about the 1-2 punch, and I 100% agree. He's doing that damage, but he's staying alive as well. Imagine having a player who puts 3 shots into 2 different players, stays alive, and then can just re-push with you as well. I mean, Cykul's having a great series, as well as the rest of the squad. They're just playing phenomenal here.
In that game, 45 kills, and let's see, about maybe 17 assists between the two. Definitely 2 of the most damage against that 1-2 combo. Just too good. Every jab needs a right cross, and that's what you got there with Suppressed and Cykul going to game number 2, Slayer Solitude. We had the script, I feel like. We talked about it. King of the Hill, although better than what we saw in London, not a 4-0, 3-2, but still a Shopify Rebellion win. We talked about Slayer Solitude, them having to win this matchup because having a King of the Hill and a stronghold in the first 3 games definitely went hard against Cloud9. If Cloud9 loses Solitude Slayer, I'm saying it right here.
Oh, yeah.
It's a 3-0.
Oh, yeah.
I'm saying it right here, right now.
Yeah, it's going to be tough, Tony, because that Slayer Solitude, we talk about it time and time again. There is so much snowballing that happens on that map, right? You get that trap inside of blue, it's over. So if Shopify can start off hot here, it's going to be really difficult for Cloud9 to do anything.
Shopify Rebellion, Cloud9, here in beautiful Atlanta. You know it's my backyard. You already know.
Why didn't you invite me over?
What?
Why didn't you invite me over to your house?
I like you. What do you mean?
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, you're mean to me. I don't. What do you
Sorry.
mean? You always talk about that I'm not as high of a rank of you, and that your mouse and keyboard is a harder input, and controller aim assist. I'm gonna invite you to my home.
Because your backyard sounds great. It sounds like there's barbecue. I mean, all right.
Oh, it is bar. We got some ribeye steak. We got a little tomahawk. Let me tell you, we barbecue out here. And let me tell you, Shopify Rebellion, they were barbecuing back in London too. They were cooking. I'm gonna let them do it. 5-3 record when it came to the Slayer. Last time we saw them over at London, an average margin of 3.9 plus, and a 1-0 record on Solitude as a map. Not necessarily the game time, but as far as a map. Cloud9, we talked about it. Game 2 Slayers, they have been so good. Wes brought up a good point, though. Game 5 Slayers, they've gone to the Game 5s multiple times.
Yeah.
And again, we're going to bring up the same narrative. They haven't been able to clutch it out. They haven't been able to close it out.
Yeah, I mean, for me, obviously, Cloud9 ended up winning that Slayer in London. I think Shopify still, though, are one of the best Slayer teams in the game. Will we see that here in game number 2?
Going to start on board now with Mental, aggressive towards the U-turn side. Some well-placed grenades. I'm not sure there's more for Suspector to go. So what does he do? Enter back with a double kill and get the shot out of the hands of Suppressed.
We talked about good starts. This is a good one. Obviously, it's the very beginning of the game, but a 3-1, a camo and a shock. What else do you want?
And look at the awareness. They know exactly where Shopify Rebellion are coming from. They already are pinging the spawns and now limiting the options. Tusk attacking from the Charlie side. Meanwhile, Cloud9 attacking from the yard, the A side. And Shopify Rebellion, they're hopping in place. I like that.
I love
what
this.
What is going on here?
Oh my gosh, the push comes in from Cloud9. That's a triple. Shooting Tusk. I mean, this is a great start. 6-1.
Are they standing still in place? What's going on? I think they're trying to give us a bit of a sign.
Yeah, we need a show here. You know, we need to see a show. I mean, yeah, it's once you see them stand still, you know that something happened. But again, Tusk he's feeling good about that triple, right? You can carry that into the reset, maybe. You know what I mean? You get a triple, you feel good. I don't know. Do you?
I feel like if Shopify Rebellion ever pulled that strategy in a real game, I'd believe it. Like they're very creative.
Yeah, I mean, I
very
guess
creative.
We've seen crazier things, Tony. We have seen some crazier things, but again, before that triple, it was a good start out of Cloud9, right? Again, staying alive on that glass area, not really, it was Suspector, not really, over-aggressing, make sure to stay behind that light rifle pillar and played his life, and they ended up getting kills on the shock, they ended up getting the camo, it all worked out for them in the start.
And that was crazy to me, because when I looked at Suspector as far as from the observer point of view, it looked like he was one shot and in trouble. He ends up throwing a couple well-placed grenades, and I think the double kill was through those grenades that he got. Eventually we saw the tail end of that led to Suppress, like you said, losing the shock and Cloud9 taking control. Obviously something was there, so they kind of flagged in for an end of game, and let's make sure that we're on equal footing. But that was quite the start from Cloud9, which really has been the story as we've been talking about this whole tournament so far. Against Sentinels, against Shopify Rebellion, Cloud9 have come prepared, and their starts are really good.
Yeah, the only thing that kind of gets to me, Tony, is Shopify have seen that start now. So do we see something maybe a little bit different? I mean, obviously you've given that kind of start in your playbook. It worked out really well, but do you switch things up? It's a little bit of a mind game that happens now in this next reset.
I think I know what they should do. They should go Flowers,
yeah,
hop on the awning, and jump in place. Do what Rebellion just did to you. Rebellion will never see that coming. You might lose camouflage, you might lose shock, you might lose the game, but it will be entertaining.
It will be entertaining. Again, we got to talk about it. It's that awareness, though. They had that trap inside of blue. That's going to be the name of this game here. There's going to be 3 factors. It's shock rifle, camo, obviously, and then spawn trapping on blue or spawn trapping backyard, wherever you decide, but understanding where the spawns are happening. And Slayer, it's big to not only understand and force those spawns, but also try to stagger spawns as well.
I feel like when we talk about spawn trapping on a map like Solitude, one of the reasons what makes it such a snowbally map is the fact that you can spawn trap on any 4 corner. Like you said, you can spawn trap over towards blue, which is crazy if you have the shock. But if you want to trap them bottom snipe and make it a nade heaven, it's crazy. So one thing that makes this so tough is the fact you can spawn trap over to everywhere, and little Space Station Gaming. Okay. A little bit of bittersweet, and I ain't never mad at that.
You love to see it. Space Station Gaming up 2-0 in the series thus far, and they've got a pretty sizable lead here in this game number 3. This is, of course, the B stream while we get things situated. It looks like Space Station are starting to heat up in this tournament just a bit, Tony.
174 to 54 lead in favor of Space Station Gaming, and Bound not able to get the win on that one. Precision able to get himself a kill when Descendant gets himself a sniper, but it is back and forth we go. An absolute war being fought over toward the Bravo side, one that Space Station Gaming clearly are winning. They have about 200 points right now. Bittersweet, pretty far behind.
Yeah, not only are they winning in those slays, but I mean, I'm sorry, in that objective, but also look at the slays out of the side of SSG. I mean, you love to see it. 13 and 11 and 9 out of Legend. We talked about Legend and his role on the roster, right? On that quadrant roster, maybe a bit of an objective, more of a slayer, like a superstar, I guess you could say, on that quadrant roster. Here, a bit more objective, a bit more damage output than normal.
Yeah, I feel like SSG recognized the talent that Legend had, and we said, we want to bring you onto our roster, and we want to bring you onto our system. So you don't have to bear the burden of having to slay out at all times. We want you to do what the team needs you to do. If it happens to be objective,
right,
great. Be one of the best flag runners in the game.
That's
if
right.
they need him to be a damage dealer, well, you know Legend can do that. I promise you. They brought Legend to be a part of a system, because when it comes to SSG, one player is going to shine more than others on each and every game. But it's going to change over and over again. Sometimes it's going to be balanced. Sometimes it's going to be even Eco will slay out and fry out. So I feel like when it comes to SSG, it's more of the system as opposed to just having one singular outstanding slayer.
Well, we see a 3-0 there, Space Station versus Bittersweet. And, again, talking about SSG, I really love, again, that Legend comes in with such a high ceiling, and they're going to be able to lift them up even higher. But let's switch focus here back to the Cloud9 Shopify Rebellion series. Of course, it's going to be Cloud9 that start this game off. We got that new feature. They're going to start this game off 3-1, a little bit of a lead.
Just a little bit.
A little tiny lead,
there.
yeah.
Hey, man, you never know when it's close games like Slayer, and oftentimes that will be separated between 2 or 3 kills. That little bit of a lead can make a difference. We're going right back here to game number 2. It's going to be Solitude. You know, I got my start. We both got our start casting back in Halo 5, so we know Plaza remake a little bit. I hope we know it a lot of bit. Many reps as we had. Come on now.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm excited to see this start here once again out of the side of Cloud9 and Shopify. Again, it's that little bit of a chess match to see if Cloud9's going to have the same start or not. Suspector takes that same position on the glass.
Yeah, remember, Suppress was the one who was able to get away with the shock. And we never exactly found out what happened to Camouflage. We do know Suspector is once again living here towards the LR side. He gets there and just stays alive, and it's kind of, history kind of repeating itself a bit. It's going to happen again, and this time it's Sceptify who gets the Camouflage.
And they kill Suppress. Wait, is this deja vu, Tony? What's happening here? Regardless, though, 7-2. Cloud9 mount a little bit more of a lead off that 3-1 start that they had, and it's Sceptify with a shock rifle camo combination.
When it comes to professional gameplay, this is the most deadliest combination in the game, but throwing it away is not what Sceptify nor Cloud9 wanted. You may be up as far as 4 kills right now, but you cannot rest on that.
Yeah, it's just a bit of a communication issue, right? Tusk was flanking through the driveway, but unfortunately, it was Sceptify who went in a bit aggressive off the rip and ends up dying and losing both.
Look at where every reticle is trained on right now, that S1 spawn, and they're ready to trap them. Cykul and Rebellion taking their time with this, making sure that they take space, limit those options, and when it's time to strike, they all will do it at the same exact time. We see Suppressed able to take down Sab, a bit of a cleanup, and now Cykul with the drop down and the easy pick. That's what these players, that's what this team do best.
Cloud9 did great there, though. They were trapped on that, on that bottom lift side, but they took the weakness of the setup, and they went for the one player on the bottom of U-turn, and because of that, they'll get that kill, and they'll still have a little bit of a lead by 1.
Once again, Shopify Rebellion will take control, but like you said, still down by 1 kill. Switch over towards Suppressed. A side is cleared out right now. He changes his focus towards this Charlie side, towards this nest side of the map, because Camouflage is coming up, and they know Shopify Rebellion need that.
Yeah, I love that. Shopify is called one of the fastest teams in the game. They say they mimic their playstyle from SSG, but they slow down the pace when that camo's coming up. You see a bit of aggression there, and it's going to turn into a couple of trades. It's Sceptify and Sab who both go down. Camo's still up.
3 members of Shopify Rebellion now surrounding the Camouflage at the moment. Meanwhile, SoulSnipe forced to back out and out of the play. Tusk with the chase down. Excellent kill by him, but the cleanup comes in just as quick. 16 apiece, Mental with the camo.
Yeah, this is going to be huge for the side of Shopify Rebellion. We didn't see Cloud9 do too much with that first camo. Now Mental has a chance to make some impact here. Let's see what he does as he sees all the members of Cloud9 and at least gives that information.
As much as we give credence and credit to Shopify Rebellion's ability to speed up the game. Look at the patience that they've had multiple times during this game, waiting for their time to strike. And with that camouflage, Mental's going to lead to a full 4 down for Cloud9. Shopify Rebellion take the lead.
Yeah, this is where things get a bit scary. You know those spawns happen inside of blue. It's an easy trap here for the side of Shopify, but it's about how it's played by Shopify. Cloud9 end up going 1 down. That'll be all of the pieces falling. That's exactly what that trap does, but a beautiful trade there out of the side of Cloud9.
Cloud9 with a huge answer back, coming off a spawn, making your presence known, letting Shopify Rebellion know that it ain't gonna be easy. They're going to have to fight at every given moment. It's SoulSnipe. Well, that's quite a bit of fight out of him.
He's definitely fighting 9 and 5 already in this game, and that shock rifle doing work. It is Shopify Rebellion who take that lead once again by 1 kill, making a tie here at 24.
Cykul with the chase down, excellent shot. Suspector cleans him up, covers Sab's back perfectly as Cloud9 take once again a 1 kill advantage. Suppressed on the bottom hotel side of Shopify Rebellion towards the nest side of the map. We have Cloud9 with some excellent space here.
You know what I want to do? I want to go into a listen-in with Cloud9 to see what they're talking about in the comms.
Yo, in blue, one shot, and then in blue, one shot. Yo, U-turn, weak guys. One shot, two shot, U-turn. That's one shot. Okay. Yo, stop it. U-turn with those. Look at market. Yeah. Market 2 shot. Yeah, soda. Soda 2 shots. Yeah. I hear that. Tell me done. I hear that. I'm looking. Yeah, over. Dead. Top you. Push it. Slowly. One shot. Nice. I can't. One shot. Nice. I'm nading, careful. That's so weak. Dead. I'm with you, Seb. Okay, black jam. Yeah, I'm just picking flowers a little bit. Yeah, one's in blue. Yeah.
Love the communication, love the small talk out of the team, but also love how calm the comms are. Everything can be here clear and concisely out of this roster, and one of the reasons why they have a 35-27 lead to Cloud9. Sad. Damage going down, staying alive, even more important, Cloud9. We talked about their teamwork. It's looking quite good right here, right now.
Yeah, I mean, ever since we started that listening, Cloud9 have looked strong. You heard, like you said, the communication. A lot of small talk, right? It's not panic, it's small talk, understanding that if you have a teammate behind you, I can't peek, I'm no shields, allowing your teammate to push up. And again, that information is key.
8 kill advantage here for Cloud9, and 10 kills away from ultimately tying up this series. And Sab just finding easy damage off was a flank, but as a position eventually was identified by the Shopify Rebellion roster. Still, they hold on to the lead due to Cloud9. Mental has to run away to stay alive, and SoulSnipe once again with a flank that leads to a double. That's SoulSnipe's 14th kill, as eventually he gets taken out as well.
This is the game they've been looking for. This is the lead they've been looking for. Cloud9 now have to close here, but again, it's Shopify with that camo in their hands, in the hands of Cykul.
Closing on the opposition here. Making sure his teammates are with them. When they collapse together, and when they do, they execute. Do Shopify Rebellion, full squad wipe. Cloud9 go down.
I mean, that again was a lead that Cloud9 had, and they let it slip. They allowed that camo to go on the hands of Cykul. He made some impactful plays, did a lot of damage, and now it's only a 3-kill game here. Cloud9, though, they still lead.
Cloud9, though, their lead is slipping at the moment here. Cykul takes down Sceptify, and we switch gears to Suppressed, who may be one shot, but he also has a shock in his hand. Shields are back, and in the fight, only down by 1 kill, and the game slows down just a bit.
Yeah, when it's the most important time to control these power weapons and these power-ups for the side of Cloud9, they allow Shopify to get that space on the map. They take bad damage, and because of that, Shopify are freely able to go top center to get that camo, and of course, get that shock rifle off a spawn. And now, what, like you said, Tony, the pace slows here for both sides. Cloud9 leading by 1.
Multiple members of Cloud9 navigating their way through the blue side. Tusk getting really aggressive, pushing Truck and pushing Suppress out. Suppress can't quite stay alive. Sceptify threads the needle from across the bottom dip side of the map, and now Cloud9 with a man advantage. Now it's their opportunity to get aggressive, where with Camouflage coming up, they cannot afford a mistake.
Yeah, they can't afford to go down here either, and that's what I would consider a mistake, dying right now before this camo comes up in 13 seconds. You're going to put yourself in a bad spot. They've taken some great angles here on the side of Cloud9 towards Shopify Rebellion. They need to continue this, and they do. The push comes out.
A one-shot SoulSnipe gets the kill. It's Cykul and SoulSnipe that clear out the blue side of the map all by themselves. Back-to-back kills leads to a 3 down for Cloud9. And now Shopify Rebellion not only take the camouflage, they take the lead.
I mean, this was beautiful out of Shopify. That double push towards the blue. It's, again, one of the most aggressive teams in the league in Shopify Rebellion. They wait for their moment, and they strike.
48-46. And now Shopify Rebellion identified this is the two-pronged attack that they want, pinching Cloud9 in between Flowers, in between Yard and the cafe side, slowly approaching them, but multiple go down, and Mental closes it out.
Shopify now lead 2-0 versus Cloud9, and I hate to sound like a broken record, Tony. I know you always say, Tim, why do you repeat the same stuff? Well, I'm going to repeat something once again, and that is, again, we find that a team cannot close. There was a chance there for Cloud9 with that, I believe it was a 6-kill lead, to close out that game, and they just couldn't do it.
I mean, it's been the narrative literally so far for Cloud9, but when we cast them from the B stream over to right here, right now, you start well, but you can't quite find the finish, and it's so crazy to be right there, to be so close to victory. I'd imagine, like from a mental standpoint, that just beats you. That is 5 games right now where you've had the lead at pivotal points in the game, and you're still not able to get the win, Tim.
Yeah, 5 games, including that Sentinel series. I mean, it's unfortunate, right? And you got to go back and see, what did we do wrong there? Why did that happen? For me, it was the beautiful plays by Mental, of course, starting to get Shopify a bit of momentum, right? Picking up that camo when needed it, Shopify getting those camos and getting those shock rifles as well. For me, that was the factor.
I love the fact that we didn't get the chance to see SoulSnipe much on screen, but just like, it wasn't nothing flashy. Just actively listening to his team, identifying who are the weak players and where your point of attack is. A lot of times people hear call-outs and they just want to dive into it and end up in a bad situation. No, not here. but it happens so often. But for SoulSnipe to identify when the weak players are in a vulnerable position and how you want to attack, those double kills that we saw on the screen multiple times, I bet, as far as damage-wise, he led with kills. I bet he did not lead with damage. But what he did was he picked and chose the right moments to attack this SoulSnipe.
Yeah, I mean, it's absolutely phenomenal. And you saw, again, that last play. It was a huge play out of the side of Shopify Rebellion. That double push was beautiful out of them. If we can continue to see stuff like that, I think Shopify closes us out in a 3-0. And Tony, you even said it yourself. If Shopify were to win this game number 2, we see a 3-0 in our hands. Do you still think that's the case?
I mean, I'm gonna stay with what I said.
Okay.
I will say I really enjoyed what I saw from Cloud9. Though I feel like, again, they fight tooth and nail. They do everything they can to put themselves in a position to win. They just need to find a way to get over the hump. Meanwhile, Shopify Rebellion, resilient, stayed true, and they push forward. And I'm looking at the stronghold battle between the leaders as far as their team in this particular game type. Suppressed 1.67. Suspector looking like he's ready to fight. We got Suppressor looking like he a shooter right now. Okay, I see you, but I don't want to mess with you on the back. Meanwhile, Suspector over here, he's ready to throw a hand.
Yeah.
I don't really want to get into battle with either one of these two.
Me neither. A 1.67 out of Suppress is incredible because not only is he getting that KD, but he's also doing all that damage. Again, he's being those good vibes in a team that you like to see, and very important to have all of that. It's another all-around player. We have casted him for years, and we've always called him the glue player. Finally, he's found himself glued on a roster that is succeeding right now.
It's actually crazy. Like talking to people, like outside of just like in the game, as far as competitors and whatnot, and just talking to anybody, I've never heard a single person say they've had a bad experience with Suspector. In fact, they're like, dude, out of all the pros, he's the nicest one to me. He really is that guy. Like if you want to grind games right now, everybody in the chat right now, if you want to grind games, DM Suspector.
Oh no! Don't. There's a lot of people watching, Tony. No, don't.
He's a friend to everybody. DM him right now, and he'll do it. I promise.
I don't think he wants that many friends. That's a lot of friends. But I mean, yeah. I mean, I think for Suppressed as well. I think again, having that same glue player type mentality is so important for the side of Shopify. And I think if he continues that, and as they continue to grow, of course, it was Arlington. That was their first event together, right? And then they go to London. They've placed higher and higher every event thus far. My question is, if they take care of Cloud9, which, this series is nowhere near over yet, but if they do, are they going to be in that top 3 conversation again?
I mean, well, like we said, they got better and better. So
yeah.
4th place at Arlington, 3rd place at London.
I can't do
that must lead to a 2nd place here, right. As far as in Atlanta, and that expectations continue to get higher and higher. And I will say, expectations for this roster are real. Like I feel like at Arlington, the ultimate underdogs and whatnot. Every match that they win into, it's like if Shopify Rebellion win it, it's great.
Yeah.
But no, the expectations were low, at least as far as the public eye. Going to London, they got a little higher, and they answered that. Now coming here in Atlanta, they're a household name at this point.
Right.
Nobody's sleeping on Shopify Rebellion, even though I was talking about it way at Arlington, but everybody thought I was crazy. I'm just saying, everybody thought I was crazy back at Arlington, but it's okay. What I'm saying now, though, nobody thinks it's crazy anymore. Now there's real expectations here on this team, and I want to know how they answer that. I know for a fact that they will, but I think there's still some naysayers saying, I want to see a little bit more Shopify Rebellion.
I'm that naysayer. I want to see a little bit more. It's going to be tough. I mean, when you're talking about the fact that, SSG, we would say, or I would say personally, that they had a fluke event. It was a 4th place finish at London. You don't expect that out of the side of SSG, but again, you got to look at both ends of the spectrum. Is it because SSG didn't play as well, or is it because Shopify were just on fire? I mean, both those things come into play.
Yeah, I'm excited here. Still, series not over just yet.
No, not over yet.
It is 2-0 in favor of Shopify Rebellion. And we obviously did talk about the fact that in that King of the Hill, it didn't favor them back in London.
Right.
And kind of the same thing as Strongholds. We cannot ignore the fact that 250-0 is a crazy stat line. That is a stat line that you do not often see when it comes to being on land. When you often see in the winners bracket quarterfinals of actual battle, you don't see that type of stat line, but we did. Shopify Rebellion are clearly a heavy favorites when we're talking about Strongholds against Cloud9.
Yeah, fortunately enough for Cloud9, they don't see interference on this lineup, so it won't be too bad. Obviously, they put up a fight there in that very first game, so I think, like you said, though, I 100% agree with you with Cloud9 not getting that Slayer and not closing out that game number 2. I don't see a world where they can muster up that confidence to go into game 3 and feel, okay, we still got this. And if they do, I mean, that would be incredible.
I don't know what they're ready for on screen right now, but they look ready.
They're definitely ready.
I don't know what they're ready for.
Are you ready?
They look. Oh, I'm ready. Don't you dare disrespect.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
No question. I don't get ready. I stay ready.
Okay.
I promise you that in live fire. Strongholds coming up next. Our game number 3, potentially the final game of the series if Cloud9 don't dig deep and deeper than they've had all tournament long. This is so important. Falling 0-2 in pool play, that is not a position Cloud9 want to be in when we're talking about making it to bracket play on Saturday.
Yeah, it's going to be really difficult for them. They're going to have to play through that lower bracket. So a very important series and a difficult one at that. We saw that Sentinels series. We saw it was very difficult for them against Sentinels, and we're seeing the start of this series as well. Shopify leading 2-0. Can Cloud9 put a score on the board?
Camouflage going to come up on a bit of a delay here on live fire, so both teams really keeping their focus on objective and sniper for that first 30 seconds. And Cykul, he got that sniper, now he's keeping his reticle trained on Cloud9.
Yeah, this is the man of the hour right here, one of the youngest players in the HCS, and he's 1,000 times better than me, which is kind of crazy, Tony. The talent is insane on some of these young kids, and it's going to be suppressed. A little bit of a veteran in the scene, trying to prevent this camo. It's Sceptify with camo in his hands.
It's like, he's better than me. It's kind of crazy to think. Like, Tim, shut up. 7-3 lead in favor of Shopify Rebellion. Sceptify with the early capture over towards Charlie. And although they're sacrificing Alpha, Cloud9 still hold on to Bravo and Charlie and the lead.
It's a 2-cap here for the side of Cloud9. This will be good for them if they can withstand the spawns that come out. But again, look at Shopify sending 3 through the cuts here to break onto C.
Ooh, a little bit of a late jump there. Staying over toward the top C side. Juking out a little bit is Sceptify, and the plasma pistol is charged, and so is Cloud9. They take control, they take the lead in slays, and a trip cap seemingly out of nowhere for Cloud9.
Wow, this is exactly what you love to see as an answer back from that 250-0 in London. Of course, it is live fire instead of interference, but Cloud9 showcasing they're not done with this series yet.
Yeah, all those different maps, they're both pretty snowbally maps. There's ones that can really get out of control if you allow a team momentum, and right now, Cloud9, they have the momentum right now. 75-7 lead. What are you seeing that's different out of this Cloud9 roster?
Honestly, it's the kill differential. Cloud9 leading 15-8 right now in terms of slays here. When you have those slays, positions on the map a little bit easier, Tony. So getting those slays obviously very important. Shopify, though, answer back with that 2-cap.
I always say there's an old McWin reference I've heard when I was interviewing him, and it's hard to be objective efficient when you're dead. So Cloud9, they have a very simple objective, and that's to win the Slays battle and let the objective kind of surround, let the objective play through that. And with Camouflage coming up, though, you can't afford to lose too many of those and expect to win a game against a team like Shopify Rebellion.
See, once again, though, the timing's a bit off there on that A plat, right? They expected a 2v1 situation, but it was of course, Suppressed, who was able to get the trade onto 1. You can't allow that to happen because it gives Shopify this camo, and not only that, it gives them a double cap as well.
85-15 lead. Cloud9 do have control, but Cykul still has that camo and wants to make a play with it. Oh, a missed melee. Somehow Savage isn't still aware of it. Able to get the kill, and now aggressive as they look to put him 3 down. A full squad wipe as 4 down go Cloud9. Shopify Rebellion, they take the trip.
Once again, it's a great start by Cloud9, but look how quickly Shopify Rebellion answer back. And you see, I talked about the slays being in the favor of Cloud9 before. Guess what, Tony? It's 21-20. Still Cloud9 leading by 1, but Shopify are starting to slay out a bit.
Yeah, he's sniping souls right now with Mikey on screen, and I'm loving every bit of it. With 7 bullets in the chamber right now, the reason why Shopify Rebellion are coming back in this game and may steal the lead is behind SoulSnipe and this sniper, and Cloud9 consistently spawning in a non-advantageous position.
Talked about SoulSnipe kind of being that all-around player that gets things done that need to be done right. It's crazy to have that player to depend on. He can hit headshots with the snipe. He can rotate. He can get that objective time as well. SoulSnipe can do it all.
105-85 lead. Shopify Rebellion have stolen the lead, and now the question is, can they hold on to it as Suppressed? Some nades downtown. Tusk is doing everything he can to stay alive toward the Charlie side of the map, and Suppressed aggressive, the main damage dealer of the crew. Even one shot, still confident, but eventually tried to stay alive. Suspector hunts him down, and Shopify Rebellion, they still have a double cap.
Yeah, they're just doing a really good job, Tony, of even when they're down in numbers, they make sure to get a 2-for-1 trade. They make sure to still trade out at least 1 kill. And I think that's what's important here. It's getting them all this space on the map. Finally, Tusk gets inside a B.
Tusk staying alive. A one-shot SoulSnipe cannot win the pave against Tusk, but he has to hop out at least momentarily, and the reset does happen. So now you have to start all over. All of that work that you did to take Bravo, well, eventually it does happen.
Well, Suppress was down, so it's Shopify Rebellion playing a bit slow. Don't want to overextend on the B, so it'll be Cloud9 with that BC control. And you see, once again, Tusk understands the pressure's coming out into C, rotates directly towards A, but he doesn't get in the hill just yet because that camo was up and Suppress just took it.
Looks like Suppress ends up taking it and now doubles back. And I don't think Tusk and Cloud9 are aware of this play. This might be a game-changing play. But eventually Suppress, he noticed Sceptify. Sceptify's trying to sniff him out towards the small window side, so Suppress answers right back. A bit of meta-on-meta action right now, a little counterplay.
There's a lot of time deleted from this camo. Finally, he gets in the action, though, and he makes it count with that double. That's exactly what you love to see. You never want to see a camo and that 30 seconds wasted. Suppress makes sure to leave no crumbs on the floor.
He had to adapt a couple of times to get that play off, but he did. That's really big for them. The large reason why he has a 2.0 KD. He reads the play so well. And that's another stick, another kill, and another 3 down for Cloud9.
And another 2-for-1 trade, right? Suppress makes sure to get 2 before he goes down. And that's exactly what Shopify have been doing well this entire game. Suppress 15 and 8 thus far. Comes off a spawn, already getting himself another kill. And not only that, he resets C.
Man spawned up, was already in the action. I'm complaining if that happens to me. I'm like, stop spawn trapping him. He doesn't make excuses. He fights his way out of his spawn right there and earns it. But eventually Cloud9 slay out once again. They grab a hold of Charlie, and now Shopify Rebellion, what they're doing.
Oh my goodness, Shopify pushing towards that A side. It's Tusk once again on the top tower. Very important for him to live here with this snipe, and he does just that. He's gonna get his shields back. And again, being on top of this tower is so impactful for this C hill. Look how much damage he's able to do. Gets 1, gets the 2nd as well, trying to go for the 3rd, but repulses and stays alive instead.
The fact that he stayed alive for that long and did that amount of damage, not bad. Trying to extract every bit of value out of his life right there, did Tusk, but Shopify Rebellion, super aggressive to take away Charlie. Alpha will change hands, so Cloud9 will hold on to a double cap for it now, but they're still down by quite a bit.
Yeah, it's a little bit of solo pushing here out of Shopify Rebellion. You're seeing Cloud9 get that double cap and hold it for a bit. It's still a lead by Shopify, but it's not by much.
173 to 126. Double cap still in favor of Cloud9. And Suspector on the attack. Gets 1, can't quite get a 2nd, and Mental was the one with the sniper. He's the one that needs to go down.
Yeah, Mental with his snipe. He's got 1 bullet left after that missed shot, but again, he's playing with his team. I love the fact that he took out the bandit right there, did as much damage as he could. Doesn't go for those no-scopes. Make sure to use that bandit to get some damage in.
Love that. It's so important to use that teamwork, get that damage, and like you said, don't always go for the no-scopes, even though that one almost connected. Bandit comes out quick, and he still gets the kill. Does Mental onto Sab, and right back over towards Alpha as they push for yet another trip cap. Shopify Rebellion.
Yeah, the rotations out of Shopify are beautiful here. They're rotating around the map perfectly while forcing spawns on the other side, and that's, again, what's gave them this lead thus far. They're not winning by, in terms of the slays category, they're not winning by a ton. It's only 53 to 46. But in the objective side of things, it's much different.
Sceptify, he was strafing so fast, he was barely moving right there. That was interesting. Oh my gosh, looked like he was look at a little speed force, like a flash. 220 to 135, another trip cap, Shopify Rebellion, another kill from Mental. Cloud9. We talk about clean slays is what's needed. Trading out is not going to help when you are down by about 100 points and 3 down. Eventually go Cloud9, the final player, and Sab ain't nowhere to go but the black screen.
Yeah, Shopify are picking apart 1 by 1, and now 245 and counting for them as they look to close out this series and potentially will do just that. It's a 3-0 sweep for Shopify Rebellion.
250 to 135 will be your final score line, and although we want to give our flowers to Cloud9, we want to talk about the fact that this was much a better performance out of the King of the Hill and the Strongholds that we saw before. We want to talk about the fact that they start off games well and put themselves at least in positions to win, as opposed to losing the objective in 2 in a row. We talked about Cloud9 getting better, but at the end of the day, you know, what do they say? It doesn't matter win by an inch or a mile. It's about winning, and they're down 06.
That's absolutely right, and honestly, it was just beautiful, the fact that they were able to, again, rotate so well on those last hills, and even though Cloud9 had that little bit of a lead, it didn't matter.
It certainly didn't, boys. Welcome back to the full desk. Wonderful cast. Yeah, I mean, our first fast game of the entire day so far. I mean, a quick 3-0 there from Rebellion. I'm just so impressed with what we're seeing. I really do think that is some growth. They look like a full team right now, a team that are here to play and play with the very best of the best. That's exactly the type of dominance, the type of performance I want to be seeing when you're heading into the top 3. Like, that is exactly what you want from them, pool play. And unlike some of the other teams that we've had so far, Space Station, Optic, they didn't start off slow. They started off pretty hot. So I'm excited to see what they can kind of continue to do with that.
Yeah, I was most impressed at the end of that Solitude Slayer game where they were down and they did not have control of the map. Camo's coming up, and they formulated such a perfect break to not only take the lead, but to get that camo and put a punch on that game. That looked like the game that they were going to slip up. They were down throughout that game, about 9 kills at one point, and they still figured out a way to come back and get the job done in dominant fashion the rest of this series. So I'm very excited against their chance against Sentinels later, because now coming off 2 3-0s on both sides against Cloud9, we're going to see who the better team is, who really is probably the conversation to break into that top 3 on the outside.
We saw some beautiful performances from individuals here. I love that map 1, our head-to-head we talked about before. We did see Suppress and Sab having hot starts. They really were butting heads in all the right places. Who was really impressive for you, Tony, on either side?
I mean, I keep talking about it being more of like a 1-2 combo, and it's really Cykul and Suppress. Like, that is where their firepower is consistently coming from. I think SoulSnipe had some great kills, but when you look at the damage and when you look at like the eyeball test, Suppress and Cykul were doing their thing.
Yeah, Cykul was somebody actually we had talked about on the desk previously. I think it was you, Wes, who mentioned Cykul, or was it you, Tim? I can't even remember.
All of us at some point.
It was probably all of us at one point or another, but Cykul has been stepping up. And honestly, at certain times, he's such a game changer for this team. I just love the way that this chemistry is flowing from all of these gents right now. And it's going to be really difficult to stop. If that's how they're starting against a team that they're quite familiar with as well, Active, then I think some of our top teams here could be upset once again by Rebellion.
Yeah, Rebellion, it's going to be a tough road. But again, you start here, and it's going to be the match for me is Sentinels versus Rebellion. We've talked about it a couple times, but that's going to be the big test, right? Which team is going to come to play? I think Shopify look really good right now.
They certainly do indeed. We're going to see right now the scores throughout that series layout. And something that I want to ask you about, Clutch, as well, is in terms of the series layout, does Rebellion have anything right now that they can kind of lean on, especially heading into that really important match in their pool against Sen?
I think Shopify is the best Slayer team we have in the league right now. They're consistently closing out these Slayers, and I think going into London and even at London, they had the widest margin of victory in the Slayers, which tells me that when they get the ball rolling and when they don't have to focus on weighing decisions as far as like these constant objectives that are changing with oddball or with flag, when it comes down to just get more kills than the other team, they can do that. They have the skill to win their gunfights. They know how to acquire kills and snowball that into some momentum for themselves. So those game 2s and game 5s are something Shopify look at as traditionally a deficit for our better teams in the league. They look at it as a strength, and that is a very strong win condition to have in your favor looking at series going against teams as you go throughout a tournament, specifically against the likes of FaZe, Optic, and SSG. When you can win the Slayers, you can beat those teams.